Q103 Albany's Rock Station, rocking you worldwide, Q103Albany.com, and of course on the Radio Pup app. It is Styles welcoming you to another garage session, this time with the Sick Puppies. Give it up for the guys. Come on. All the crowd here. Yeah? A little bit of delay. You guys got a little lost on the way here.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry. But we're here now.
You're here now. Yeah. Your record label guy apparently does not have a GPS.
That's right. That's right.
So, what's going to happen? The one thing I wonder is what's going to happen the day like the GPSs go down. Because to be honest, like I live in Ohio, from Ohio originally, so it's like an 8-hour drive from here. And I'll be damned. It's mostly like straight shot. I still would get lost if I didn't have my GPS.
Mm-hmm. I think most people are in that boat now. That's what happened to us, man. It should have been like we had the address and we had like MapQuested on the piece of paper, and we still managed to screw it up, like without a GPS.
I gotta Ray's pointing to himself right now in the back, and while he does work too. Look at him. All right, well we got Emma, we got Shim, we got Mark here with us. Thank you guys so much for coming on in and hanging out with us. Your brand new album, Connect, out now. First single, There's No Going Back. Congratulations, by the way, on the release.
Thank you.
You guys worked on the album for what, like close to a year, was it?
A little more, yeah.
So the process of writing an album for you guys, I mean, is it one of those situations where you wrote, I think, what was it, like 100 songs, was it? So in that process, is it kind of like maybe like by the 12th song, you're like, okay, this one's going to go on the album, this one's not? Or like how's the process of picking and dwindling that down to the ones you chose?
It's usually, you're right, like one song out of every 15 would probably be like a good ratio, and when you would write that song, you would know. And you would go, okay, we're going to slate that for the record. But then you just get back to writing songs again until you write the next one. And you kind of know by the time you get to the end of the first chorus and you kind of go, okay, well, maybe we can bang it into shape. But if not, you just go, well, I guess today's not the day. And you just go to the next day and you keep writing until another song shows up.
Now, when you guys are writing, is it mostly kind of like a group effort? And maybe is one person
pretty much
not
done like this. Like we write on the acoustic guitar and just get the words and the melody to do the work. And then we've been in the band for long enough now, we know what it's going to sound like once it's plugged in. Mm-hmm. So we just write it the same way we always have.
Now, is there typically a situation where, like, is it kind of a vote where maybe 2 or 3 of you are like, okay, like 2 of you are like, is this a good enough song for us, or do we just pass on it?
I think you generally know when it's a good one, and we all sort of agree.
It's unanimous, usually.
So it's usually just not, you guys don't waste the time voting around. It's like, all right, we know this is going to work. We move on. Let's keep going.
Well, sometimes there's a song where, like, maybe 2 of us will like it, 1 of us will be no, and you just have to be like, okay, well, all 3 of us have to like it for it to go on. So
now you guys wrote like 100+ songs. Do you find yourself using material from the past, whether it be from the first record, the earliest demos, to now that find its way onto one of your records now, like say this one, Connect?
Not usually songs. There are musical ideas that might come back around, but once a song's written and done, if it doesn't make the cut, you don't really go back to it. If it's not good enough then, it's probably not good enough now.
And then just move forward.
And then you just move forward. You just keep moving forward.
Cool deal. Now, Emma, you've been singing on a couple of the records now for about every record, I believe, correct? You've had vocals on about every record now, like your own song.
Yeah.
So for you coming out, I mean, Shim's pretty much the front guy, but for you to come out and do a song like maybe the last one on this record, Under a Very Black Sky, is it kind of nerve-wracking for you at first, the couple times you did that, or are you okay and comfortable now?
Well, the past few records that we've done up until now, like we've sort of experimented with both Shim and I singing on one song, so I've kind of sort of gradually led up to it. So this, it seems like the next step, but yeah, it is a little bit because. I don't really do it that much, but it is fun, and it's fun to do mixed songs. And we asked the World Crew, our like street team per se, and they seemed to like it, and so we experimented a bit more this time, and then that song came out.
And your first single off this record is "There's No Going Back." Now, what was the choice of making that the first single? And how does the process go for you guys to decide what ones you want as singles?
It's pretty collaborative, man. Like, we work with the label a lot. They heard all the songs, and I mean, we released a single. We wanted to get played on the radio. So we showed it to a lot of guys in your position and said, hey, which one are you going to play? You know, and we knew that we weren't going to go with, like, you know, Under a Black Sky or something. But there were a few contenders for the first single, and it really came down to what was going to get played, but also what sort of direction did the band want to set up in a way. Like, you know, when you come out, it had been a little while since Tripolar was released. You're Going Down was our biggest song. You know, it was a big deal for us, and still most people's favorite song at the shows. We always play it last. And we didn't do something like, hey, we're trying to do You're Going Down Again, because it just didn't happen. We didn't write that song. So we had to decide, all right, well, what are we going to come out and, be represented as? And this record probably sounds the most like us. And this song is a very good representation of that. Lyrically, vocally, the sort of tempo of it, the way the drums work with the guitars, and the way it all comes together is kind of fairly, it's a Sick Puppies kind of sound.
Mm-hmm. I remember back at Rock on the Range earlier this year in May, we sat down and we talked, and I told you it kind of reminded me of like an Odd One style song.
Which is another one that really is a sort of definitive Sick Puppies sound. I mean, it's got like, the bass, the line that Emma does, and mostly the lyrical sentiment and the way the melody works. It's sort of like what we try to achieve.
So how is this song performing live for you guys? Like, does the crowd chant back with you the whole time?
They're all doing it, man. Yeah. Which I got to say thank you to you guys for playing it, because they wouldn't know it if you didn't play it. So thank you.
All right. Thank you. You're welcome, I guess. Thank you guys for coming by and doing this and giving us great music to play, because God knows without great music there is no great radio station. So, speaking of great music, you guys have come up. You've done a lot of work over the years, and you've had a lot of bands influence you. I know talking with you over the years when you guys, Emma and Shim, you started out in high school together. Silverchair kind of was around that time, and just those types of bands. Do you find bands today that are still inspiring you, or is there any newer artists you guys are digging right now? I know it's kind of a wide range question there. Take it apart and take what part you want.
Go ahead. You keep up with the music more than I do. I don't really keep up with modern music as much as I should. I listen to old music more than I listen to new music.
When you say old, what's old to you?
Zeppelin and pretty much anything like mid-90s.
Okay.
And that's about as early as I go, and everything before that. Not really any hair metal, but like,
not doing Twisted Sister.
I just find it's more interesting to go backwards and hear where it came from, rather than sort of, and it's just more interesting sometimes, especially when you're trying to write music. When you go back to the gestation of where a lot of these ideas came from, you can, tap into it a little better.
Right. Now, I heard an interview, you were talking about one, speaking of the bands that influence you, like you love Flea as a bass player.
Yes, that is true.
And one of the songs, which song was it on the album you feel is a Red Hot Chili Peppers type of feel?
It's a song called Healing Now.
Okay.
And I remember when because we had a long time to write, and I was trying to come up with something like that, because just all of his bass lines are just, they're super melodic, and he also can do the rhythm thing really well too. So I don't know, I was just like messing around with it, and I came up with it. I thought that this was pretty reminiscent of something that he might do, because you just sort of ask yourself, what would he do? What would Flea do?
What would Flea do?
And so that's what came out.
And you think you found the answer with that song?
Well, our version of maybe what Flea would do, yeah.
Now, have you guys had the pleasure of the bands that have influenced you to meet them in the time that you've been out and touring now with the several records that you have? Meeting them, do you still find yourself a little starstruck? Or are you guys kind of just like, oh, they're our friends now?
Well, the thing is, I haven't met Flea, but Mark's met Dave Grohl.
Yeah, we tour with a lot of bands too. We kind of came up with, so now, like you said, we're kind of friends with them too, which is kind of really strange and really cool at the same time, because you grew up listening to these people, and they influenced you a lot, and then you get to kind of be on the same level, so to speak, as them one day, and not at the same level, but in the same kind of league and play the same shows. So it's pretty cool as being in a band, being able to do that. So
when you do these festivals, you play with them, you go out and you do these tours. I just had a brain fart there. I was thinking about the next question.
What were you thinking?
We're talking about the bands you guys are liking, the bands you guys grew up with, and all that stuff. I mean, you know what? Let's just shift gears here, because I actually have a question here. And I've actually heard a lot about Poughkeepsie. You guys played a couple nights ago, and the reaction from that show has been pretty big.
Oh, the Chance?
Yeah, the Chance.
Yeah, that was probably the best show of the tour so far. It was really good. Tonight should be similar.
Tonight's going to be sick.
So when you guys were playing live in Shim, actually now I remember what I was talking about here. When you were live and you guys see you guys, you always talk about how it's a dream realization come true, because you're talking about playing with like the bands that you become friends with now. Yeah. When you talk to the fans and you see them live, is that truly how you guys feel about it? It's just they're making it happen for you?
They are, yeah. Because, I mean, maybe people don't mention it enough when you're in a band, because you play the same songs every night and you're doing shows every night, but it doesn't exist if they don't come to the show. And we've seen a lot of bands, and I study the way the guy with the microphone works with the crowd, because what he does affects how the crowd feels and how they feel when they leave afterwards. And all you really have to do is just say thanks. It's not a big deal. Thanks for paying for a ticket, because now we can do this.
Yeah, we're playing the hard market to see you guys live like they're doing tonight at Upstate. When you get to meet them, what's some of the things you guys typically, because I know, Emma, like a lot of girls look up to you in the rock world and aspiring musicians. When you're meeting the fans, what do you tell them when they ask you for like advice in music coming up?
I guess with the girls, because it's a lot better these days, but I think sometimes girls feel like they can't do it just because they are a girl, and it's just like a mindset, I suppose, and I think that when they see someone else do it, it actually validates that they can do it, and I think that's the one thing that keeps coming back. And I guess I reinforce and say that, yeah, like, keep doing it, and don't let someone tell you that you can't do it, I guess. So
Don't let someone tell you you're no one.
yes.
Q103 Garage Sessions, joined by the Sick Puppies, and thank you guys once again for coming in, even though you got lost and what have you.
Oh man, don't
Thank you.
Sorry.
You guys are out on the road right now with 10 years, and what's coming up for you guys the rest of this year? What's the plans?
Sickpuppies.com has all the touring dates. That is where
gonna
we're
keep
going
touring?
to be, just playing these shows, man. And we have a week before, like in the last week of August, we're off, but then the rest, like September through October, and then we're planning the next set of shows, so they'll be up on sickpuppies.com. That's where I find out. I don't know what the hell we're doing.
Don't even get the daily email. This is
Pretty
where we're
much.
ending up.
Yeah.
What do you guys get to do in your free time? What do you guys do in your free time when you're sitting back and just kind of not on tour?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Actually, they were all watching it just before they came in here today.
Yeah, there's a
There's a
marathon,
marathon.
on
It's on
AMC
AMC. That's
right now.
why you guys weren't too fussed that we were late. Like, we got to
Yeah.
watch Breaking Bad.
They're catching up before the
It's
rest.
way more entertaining than Sick Puppies, that's for sure.
What other shows are you guys into? Is there any other ones like Walking Dead or?
Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Dexter. What else is there?
She's all
Yeah, but are you like all about it? You just are you?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's all I do.
You just
Well,
sit at home
Sons
and
of
watch.
Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Are you like a homebody when you're not on the road?
Yes, I am. I never go out, really.
Indeed. On tour, she's a homebody too.
I know.
Just in general.
What about you, Ship? What do you do on the off time? You just kind of sit back, relax, beach, anything?
Yeah, I mean, not much. I'm pretty much the
Have a
same
surf?
thing. I'll usually, I can't surf. I just fall. No, I go home. I try to get back to Australia as often as I can. And in the meantime, I don't know, just go to restaurants. I'm really boring, really normal dude. Really
Not living the
normal.
rock star life like most people
Nah,
think.
man. I mean, what are you going to do? We live the rock star life 10 months out of the year. When you get off the road, usually I don't go to rock shows, maybe the movies. But, I mean, by the time you get off tour, you're usually pretty tired.
Yeah, you just want to go home at
Just,
that point.
yeah, you need a little chill time. It's pretty, especially touring the way that we tour. It's a different town, different set of people. An hour and a half set. It's a lot of exercise. It can wear you out. So yeah, I definitely catch up on sleep and just stay in one spot and be still.
Mark, what about you?
No. I live by the beach when I'm home, so go to the beach a lot. Yeah, so
There you go.
love the beach.
Now, when you guys go home to Australia, Emma and Shim, I mean, are you guys big over there? Or are you guys known or no?
No. No one cares about us there.
How does
Which is
that?
great.
Are you okay with that?
Fine. Fine with that, man. We're not really
Maybe,
that big a
maybe
deal
went
here.
gold over there. So
Maybe went gold, but it's funny then because Australia, every time someone asks about it, you have to sort of explain the tall poppy syndrome, which is like everyone's like, a big brother that just sort of keeps you down, and they just sort of go, yeah, whatever, you did great, you won an award or whatever, yeah, good for you, but they don't give you many props, they don't really approve, they just sort of go, yeah, well, get back to work, you're not a big deal, don't get too big for yourself. It's a tall poppy syndrome thing, so maybe went gold over there, but I still think that we're not like, people don't go, oh, that's Sick Puppies, they just go, oh, maybe it's a song, yeah.
Right.
And
They
you tell
know
them,
who you are, but they don't know
And
you.
then and you go over there and they, oh, that's you. I'm like, yeah, I'm in that band.
Yeah, you know that
we're
band?
like, we're kind of a big deal. We have like many leather-bound books.
All right, well, There's No Going Bad is the new single right now. It's out, and let's go ahead and have you guys do your little acoustic set here, all right?
All right, cool. What should we start with?
Thank you guys so much. Sick Puppies, Q103 Garage Session.